everybody. This is Michelle and welcome to our Q&A with the angels on a Tuesday evening, and it is all about practical spirituality. So we will deal with topics of spirituality and how you can implement them practically in your day-to-day life. And synchronicities this evening. What are the types of signs? How can we see the signs? What is the difference between synchronicities, coincidences? And once we receive the signs all around us, what do we do with them? And how do we trust our intuition more? What are signs? What are the type of signs or synchronicities? What are the types of events that often appear that we can kind of say, yes, that's a nudge from the universe, that's a nudge from above. And especially if you've been asking, if you have a specific prayer, if you've been manifesting, or if you've been asking guidance with regards to life choices. As you know, the week before we dealt a lot with choices and decisions, yes? And then you're more into an awareness because you really know that I need that nudge now, or yes, that's my confirmation. So when it comes to synchronicities for us are events that happen repeatedly. And when we know it's a sign, or when we know there is synchronicity involved, is often when there is a repeat of events. So for example, numbers, you see the same numbers appearing to you over and over again. You have the same thoughts running through your mind, and it is of, that's a good thought. And then tomorrow morning you wake up with the same thought again. And then you get busy, and then you're in the shower, and then the same thought pops up in your head again. So they're of a very repetitive nature. Now, I do know I talk with my hands, so for those that's picking up on my injury, my plaster, I had an unfortunate incident with glass today. And so that's where this come from, and I can't sort of keep my hand away because I just talk with my hands. So I do apologize. It is what it is right now. Also, what can often happen, events of a repeated nature that can be signs, is also when you run into the same person. You've had like sort of a nudge to contact this person, and then this person phones you. Or everywhere you go, you just seem to run into the same person. What often happens with me is I encounter the same conversations. It's like everywhere I go, or whatever I switch on, the topic seems to be the same. And often that is a confirmation or a nudge for me to either lean more into it. Perhaps maybe it can be something that I've avoided or struggled with in the past. And sometimes if we struggle with something, or it's a bit of a challenge, then we kind of like skip and hop over it, because we know we're going to have to go somewhere deep within. Now, dreams can also be signs. Dreams can also be conversations with heaven, especially, and that's why it's so important to keep a dream journal, especially if you have recurring themes. And you can kind of like see through your journaling that the theme of the dream remains the same. And we know it is in our intuition. We know when something occurs and repeats itself. So I also had the question in the week, Is there a difference between synchronicities and coincidences? For me, there is no coincidences. For me, coincidences are synchronicities, because sometimes there's a series of events that happen. There's repeated actions, repeated messages, repeated feelings, and there's no other way to explain how that specific conversation or book or dream or person or how you landed up. There's also a saying that we say, I was just in the right place at the right time. And how that happened, we'd often attach coincidence to that. But for me, something like that cannot otherwise be explained, that's so meaningful to me. And that's also often something that we must take note of, because your signs and your synchronicities will carry meaning for you. Yes? You have to believe it. It's your perception, and our intuition, our spirit is so alert that when you receive that, for a split second, there's this little voice that goes, aha, that is strange, look what I've just found. Or, have you recognized that? You get that kind of like brief, intuitive feeling, an intuitive thought that says, now that is strange. There's a special meaning to this. Yes? So, synchronicities can be everywhere, all around you, or nowhere. It depends on your belief and your truth about them. It also aligns with your conversations you had with divine guidance, with your angelic support system. Because the more you are connected, the more you are aware. The more aware you become, the more mindfully you live. Yes? And we live mindfully when we are aware of what's going on around us. Now, think about how often you are busy on your phone. And I often experience that, especially when you go somewhere or you're out on a road trip and you want to take photos and you want to do maybe an Instagram post and you're just on your phone, I want to post this quickly. I take a lot of photos. And then sometimes you just have to become aware of what is around you rather than what you're doing. Especially also when you have an afternoon off or when you have nothing to do and you are scrolling on your phone, you are then locked out from awareness from outside. You don't know what is around you. Now, it is true that sometimes you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and something pops up and you go, my gosh, I have been wondering about this topic for so long now. So there is that synchronicity that can happen. It's such a big part of our world. But you know how many times confirmation and the angels sending us a witch, I wanted to say a nudge and a wink. A witch it's a nudge and a wink, like, yes, you're on the right path, we've got this, we're still with you. Happens when you least expect it. You know, there's a principle that says when you are out of your mind, you are into experience. So what you are busy with, is it keeping you locked in your mind, or is it aligning you with the experience of the moment? That is when we are living mindfully, when we are presently aware of what's going on around us, and then we see cloud formations, and it makes sense in that moment just to you. And then we see all the number plates have the same numbers today, no matter where I travel, all have got the same numbers. Or you get parking spots just like that all the time. It's easy. It's like, this was such an easy day. And no matter what I did, everything kind of like just flowed easy. Surely that is synchronicity. Surely that is to say you're in the flow. Keep going, keep going. So it really, when we recognize these signs, when we receive and acknowledge synchronicity, it aligns us to our thoughts, and our thoughts is then in a higher vibration, because then we start thinking, I'm supported. Then we start thinking, that's my confirmation. Then we move into action and say, that's a yes, I'm on it. So whatever you receive that gives you that pull, that nudge to say, that is synchronicity. I know it because it cannot be explained in any other way. This was not planned. It was divinely orchestrated, because how it happened, I really don't know. So meditation helps us a lot to be more aware of what is around us, because meditation aligns you to higher consciousness and it stills the mind. And so the more you meditate, the more you will move into kind of more of an observer status. Have you ever tried to witness your life rather than to react to it? That's such a powerful exercise. Try it sometime. So at the end of the day, when you become still, when you become quiet, sit back, close your eyes, and witness your day. It's almost as if your day is playing out on a stage. Just witness and observe it. You'll be amazed what you pick up when you are not into something. So the more consistently we meditate, we'll eventually find our way into a way of beingness that slows us to react, because we are in inner harmony and we observe. The more you observe and witness what is around you, including situations that you are in, the more you will see synchronicities. What is around you? A very important part, or shall we say characteristics, is also that these signs are very repetitive. I think we spoke about the repetition. So in its nature, there's repetition of it. There is something to say of seeing the same thing 3-4 times. It means nudge, nudge, pay attention. And then when you start noticing, what do you do with them? Well, you write it down. You write it down. Have a journal and write it down, because if you start writing it down, whatever you take note of, and you get to that stage where you go, where is my answer? I'm confused. I need to make a choice. Or sometimes you go, universe, where are you? Is there someone out there? Have you ever felt like that? Then you go back to your notes. you go back to your notes and you see, look, it was around me all the time. I just did not notice it because either I was too much in it, or I was too much in my mind, or I was so busy that I did not recognize. And I think that is the value, not I think I know, that is the value of these joy appointments we speak about, of sometimes just taking a drive out, sometimes just stepping away, this exercise of witnessing your life or observing from afar, because then you see, then you hear, and then you receive. And for me, the strongest vibration is feeling. It's an intuitive knowingness that that's your sign. Doesn't it sometimes feel, especially if you ask for signs, that you have this secret conversation, this secret conversation between you and the universe? So some people have got a specific sign, like a spirit animal or a butterfly or a specific vibration or something that they know when that appears, that is the sign. Yes? And sure, you can have that. And the more you intuitively lean that, notice those, and say thank you for it, and act upon those, the stronger it will become. Let us know your questions as we go, and let us know your comments. When you receive the sign, or when you have seen synchronicities or these repeated events, what do you then do? Well, it's very important to note them, as we said. But what's also very important is trust your intuition to interpret it for you. No one else can tell you what it means but you. Yes, there are meanings for angel numbers. Yes, there are specific meanings when we see our spirit animal. Yes, there's a specific message that comes with the vibration of certain divine beings or images or visions that we see. And very often I get asked those questions, or some people will say, I've just looked up this meaning and it means this. Is this the right meaning? So the most important thing is look up your sign, see what other information you can gather, but ultimately, tap into your own intuition and say, this is my sign and this is my message. And when you feel confused, become the observer, become the witness, step away. You know what's also a very powerful vibration that you can pick up is in your body. Like if you pick up on synchronicities, or you receive a sign, or you have that intuitive thought, listen to your body, especially the chest, the heart chakra, and the stomach area, the solar plexus. Is it like tightening up? Is it in resistance? Or is it relaxed and calm? The mind-body connection can be a very powerful tool for you to receive that confirmation that, yes, that's my sign, and yes, that's confirmation of my message. Also, when you receive these repeated events and happenings after you've been meditating for a while and you just have to listen and you ask, okay, now I get it. What is the next step? What is the next step? And then you get an intuitive thought. connect with the body and pick up on the reaction of your body. The body is very, very wise. One thing that I love to use is questions. So also take the pressure off yourself to have the questions answered, and rather leave the questions out there. A very wise guide once taught me that sometimes the answer is in the question. Do you ask enough questions? My intuition is guiding me to the following next steps. How will these next steps serve me? What are my fears about them? What will the cause and effect be? How is this aligning to my purpose? What are my learnings? How can I practice more love, more compassion, more forgiveness with this step? Do I truly feel in vibration that this is the next step for me? Am I in too much fear? Am I trusting myself? Is this my intuition? All of these questions, if you keep on asking them without being so hasty about the answer, your intuition is open. It indicates to the universe that my mind is open. I am completely out of the way. I'm not going to go into judgment and fear of a yes or a no. I'm going to simply absorb all the information that's coming through. You know what's so amazing? When you do this, more synchronicities come to confirm. But because you are in questioning mode and not in anxiety mode because of the answer, because you are in this open vibration, you are more aware of the signs and the synchronicities around you because your mind's out of the way. It's really powerful. So if you have any questions, please put it in the comment sections and we'll get to them. But this is just a little bit more about the types of signs and how synchronicities work and how you can see them. And most importantly, as we just said, what do you do with them once you've received them? Introspection and intuition, questioning, feeling it in the body. Check with your body. And you will know that that incident or that event is indeed not a coincidence. It is synchronicity. And feel free to ask for a sign. Feel free to ask for a sign. I love to keep signs open and to ask for signs and guidance so that I know that that's my wink or that's my nudge. But as I said before, you can have your secret conversation between you and God about a specific sign that you resonate with, and that you know that is your nudge. That is your sign.